So hello YouTube, hello the Sweet Life of Stephanie J community. This is my actual first time recording live on YouTube. So I am recording a podcast for this week, and so you'll hear it. You can hear it on my podcast, Getting Made with Stephanie J. But this is the first time I've done it live on YouTube recording. So unfortunately my account can't go live on YouTube because I don't have enough followers. So hopefully we can start to build that following. But thank you guys for being part of this community. If you have already followed the Sweet Life of Stephanie J on YouTube, thank you so much. This is where all of the interviews and talks that I have, I put them right here. So if you ever want to go back and hear some words of wisdom that you gained from one of my talks, you can find it right here on YouTube. And if you want to hear those also, I also mostly always put them on my podcast, Getting Made with Stephanie J. So you can also go to the podcast on iTunes, on Spotify, on Anchor, on almost any platform that you hear, you can listen to podcasts. So yeah, so this is the first time recording live here. So this will be on, like I said, the podcast this week. But I wanted to talk a little bit about what is going on right now in the world and like being able to find some joy and some miracles and what we've learned in the midst of waiting. So I call this the waiting period. I really feel like we're waiting till we can get back to our normal lives or waiting for, whatever the future holds. So we're in a waiting period, and it's hard for a lot of people. And I'm pretty blessed because I still have my Monday through Friday job, thank God. A lot of people don't, which makes it even harder during this time. And some of the things that I personally have learned in this waiting period is one thing is about like financial and preparation. We have somewhat prepared, but somewhat not. And so one thing I've really learned about is really being prepared for unforeseen. And it made me at least think a lot about things that I want to in the future improve upon, change and work on as far as financially, that maybe I didn't think so much about in the past. Maybe I thought more about like, I want to go out to dinner, or we want to go to the movies, or, we want to, do something fun, when wasn't thinking about what that future spending would affect, or that present spending, how it would affect our future. Of course, the dog starts barking as soon as I get on here and start recording. He's annoying. He's just annoying. So I just got off a talk with Lisa Loves Fashion, and that was fun. We're going to meet again this Tuesday. But talking to her is like an opportunity that we haven't always, close my door, we haven't always had this time and space. So one thing I have learned is that I have a lot of things that I can get rid of in this house during this time. And even though I've purged multiple times, during this time of waiting, I've purged some more. I purged more of the stuff that we've had, like in the closets, cabinets. One other thing I found is things I haven't had time to do that I've made to do. I've always wanted to make homemade cinnamon rolls. I've looked at every recipe. I've looked up tons of recipe, but you have to like let them rise, and you have to cut them. You have to let them rise again, and it was like tons of steps to it. So I never ever did it. So I did that, and that was something I've always wanted to do. So I'm really excited about that. I've tried lots of new recipes. And one thing that I've learned, I've always loved cooking, but I'm enjoying being with my family. We never took time to have family game nights ever. And hardly ever, unless I'm like, I want everybody to come to game night, and I cried about it. But we finally did that. We had a family game night, and it was really fun. And I think we should make it, me and my daughter talked about making that part of our normal family monthly routine, that we have monthly family game nights, and we incorporate that into our regular. We've been spending time talking, so I've been able to talk a little about the future with the kids, and the slowing down part has been really good for us to really take perspective on what's important. I've learned about the importance of life, watching so many people lose loved ones. I've also learned that there's a lot of people who aren't that smart in this world, which is sad because everything we do impacts each other. So even during this time, not social distancing so that we can help each other. Not so much that, I do have a chronic illness in my lungs, but most of my family is healthy. So they probably, will most likely have a mild sickness. But it's a point of, do we want to infect other people who may have, a chronic illness that they may get sick and die? And that's where, as Americans, as people in the world, as we are loving each other no matter where we are in the world and respecting the earth and each other, that we take the time to think about other people during this time, and not take all the toilet paper. Hello, save some for somebody else. The other thing I have learned is that what I've learned from watching the environment and things I've seen on TV is that the environment is loving us all, not being out and about, driving cars and creating pollution. That the environment actually has cleared up. A friend of mine has a friend who has lived in New York like most of his whole life. And he said for the first time in New York City, he heard birds chirping. Because of all the noise in the city, he had never heard that. So just learning that there's a whole world outside of our world that needs to survive also. Just seeing the pollution go down and seeing how these things have affected our activities affect the whole world, and the whole environment, the birds and the bees and the animals and the trees, and how huge that is to see that has changed because of us all changing our lifestyles. And then changing our focus. So I've seen so many positive things on social media. It makes me so happy. I've seen people playing music. I've seen people having concerts. I've seen people having parties. I've seen people sharing their skills and their knowledge, sharing, their gifts and bringing joy to the world through social media. So of all the negative things people can say about social media, we're so blessed that at this time that God allowed this to happen, that now we have social media to keep in contact. We have ways to stay in contact with our families. We have ways to stay in contact with people that we love, and also ways to check in on them, to FaceTime and do things like that. So in the waiting, which is I'm calling this, that we're waiting for whatever the next thing is, that we are continuing to grow. I've continued to pursue my classes online that was doing for my health and fitness certification, and I haven't been as good with that because I have kind of been in Netflix world probably too much. But I'm trying to, this week coming up, I'm going to try to get more strict with myself about putting in the time for my health and fitness classes. So maybe I can start providing some of that knowledge to you guys during this time of waiting. So that's one thing that I personally need to do. I have noticed that we have all slowed down, and I honestly don't mind being in the house at all now. I used to feel like I always had to go, 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 but I'm safer at home, and so I've learned to be really peaceful in that place. I've never worked from home for my regular job before, so this has been an interesting transition, but I've been trying to make myself set up, parameters like work time is over. Now it's time to, relax or do whatever the other thing is. And faith is a focus. That's one thing I learned about. Stephen Furtick teaches a sermon this Sunday. Faith is a focus. So whatever you're focusing on, you have faith in. So you're focusing on the negative and the people dying, all these things, then you have faith in that. If you focus on the beautiful things that are happening, then you have faith for more beauty. So just think about that. Faith is a focus. So whatever you have faith in is what you're going to focus on. So use that energy well, even if you can't get out and do something, go to work. If finances are low, try to work with what you have. So, whatever you have, like I've told my kids, paper towels, I'm super crucial of now for some odd reason. I used to let them fly all over the place and just use them. But now I'm like, did you use a whole paper towel? Use a half paper towel. I'm just like, but it's making us more aware of our resources and using them better. I used to throw away food in the refrigerator. Now I'm like, eat everything out of that refrigerator. We're not throwing anything away. Nothing's going to waste. We're not wasting a penny of food. I'm not throwing nothing on disposal. I used to not think twice about it. Now I'm always thinking about it. And I think that's good. It's good. Something we should have done a long time ago, been a lot more conscious about our resources, even from toilet paper to paper towels to food. We've taken for granted that we can run to Kroger, Walmart, Aldi, wherever you go stores, and we can just pick up whatever we want. Where, now we have to be a lot more conscious about our food, our spending, how we spend money, our resources, and keeping more aware of, making sure we're cooking food, we're eating food, and we don't have food to waste right now. We need to be very conscious of it. So in the wait, try to keep your focus on the things that you want to see happen. Try to keep your focus on, as hard as it is when maybe, bank accounts are low. We've been there. I totally get it. Focus on, that you can have family time at home, or that, if you still, I'm just so thankful that we still have Wi-Fi and our phones still work. And, I'm learning how to dance on TikTok. I mean, I never would have had time to sit here and learn to dance, with my daughter on TikTok. But I'm just really thankful for those things. So keep your focus on what you want to have faith in. That's really the topic of this podcast and this this live, is keep your focus on what you want to have faith in. So I pray you guys are safe. I think it's still an amazing thing that this has happened to everybody in the world. So we're all in the same spot, doing the same thing, worried about the same issues. And I think it's great because our level of empathy will rise because of this. When we see something happening in another country, we'll think and understand and be a lot more empathetic versus just saying like, oh, poor, having sympathy. Oh, poor China. They have a virus going around. Oh my gosh, that really sucks. Like, okay, I'm going to go out to dinner. We're going to really be a lot more empathetic with other people and what's going on in their lives. So I'm going to end this podcast / live on YouTube now. And it's not really live, it's recording on YouTube. But and just say, be safe, wash your hands, and show some love for your fellow man, but from 6 feet away. All right, you guys, I wish you well. I wish you peace. And no matter where you are, if you're in the middle of the wait like we all are, keep reaching for your sweetest life. Bye.